Hey there, sports fans. Scott Travis coming at you from the Sports Den. It's taken me a while because it was as painful for me as it was for everybody else that's a Bees fan. But this is going to be my Stanley Cup playoff recap of all the series. It's brought to you by Hairspray Salon, 259 Wickenden Street in Providence. For all your beauty needs, guys, it's a great place. If you've got a girlfriend or a wife with a birthday or some kind of an event coming up, you can go in there, get them a gift certificate there. They'll love you for it. All right, folks. Here's the deal. Bruins, fantastic entertainment this postseason. It ended very painfully. Obviously, Game 6. That the way the rug was pulled out from under us, we thought there was going to be a Game 7. But if you go back and look at all the series, Toronto Bruins played great at the beginning and then kind of faded a little bit, let the Leafs back into the series, and then it took that heroic miracle comeback. Don't forget that, folks. Game 7, down 4-1 with 11 minutes to go, and Milan Lucic became probably one of the best players in the NHL, and it'll remain to be seen if he can continue that heading into next season. But from that point forward, he was just a beast and just a total force in the offensive zone. We still got to question him in the defensive zone, as him and the Krejci line, unfortunately, on the ice at that, the cup-winning goal. But back to the Leaf series, Game 7, what a heroic comeback. Everybody was, in shock. They showed the pictures of people in Toronto. You had to feel for them. And unbelievable. But so the Bruins moved on and then really took care of a Ranger team that I was a little bit afraid they were going to just block a lot of shots and clutter the Bruins up, because the Bruins had struggled against the Rangers over the last few years. Henrik Lundqvist with an excellent career record too. But the Bruins were able to take care of the Rangers in 5 games. The only hiccup being the game in New York when Tuukka Rask lost his footing and fell on his butt and the puck rolled in. And that basically was the only high moment for the Rangers. The Bruins handled them completely. So then on to Pittsburgh. The Penguins come in, the favorite, the whole storyline with the whole Jerome McGinley didn't want to come to Boston. He wanted to go play for Pittsburgh. And it didn't take the Penguins long at all. Within the first game, flustered after one period of not being able to do much, they started getting crazy. Malkin got in the fight with Bergeron. And Chara and Seidenberg were fantastic, shutting them down that entire series. And we ended up sweeping the Penguins. Now, that's not something that we would have anticipated going in, but it was especially satisfying for all of us who just don't like teams that flop, dive, and wind to referees. Then you get on to the Stanley Cup Finals. Chicago Blackhawks, best team wire to wire all season long this year, folks. So they were the best. And they, game 1, triple overtime loss. That one was a tough one to not win. The Bruins did a good job of bouncing right back, though, and, made it a series and battled. They took game 2 in Chicago, game 3 back at Boston. And I think where the Bruins really lost that opportunity was game 4 when they did not win that home game. And the series went back to Chicago 2-2. And, unfortunately, the Hawks ended up winning game 5, and then that apocalyptic collapse by the Bruins in the last 2 minutes. Again, that was just really horrible. But, like I said, you have to tip your cap. I think the Hawks are a better team. It turned out there were quite a few injuries. Bergeron, you got to look at his heroics, playing with punctured lung, cracked ribs, separated shoulder. I mean, that's hockey players. Compare that to what Clay Buchholz has been going through. Kind of embarrassing, Clay. So we'll talk to you later. But Chara had a little hip flexor injury, which, would explain why he was getting, they were skating right by him, Kane and Taves. And you got to give the Hawks credit. When they put Taves and Kane together, that was really the series. The Bruins were in trouble at that point. And Seidenberg also had a hamstring issue. So the two of them, to be on the ice for so many of those goals in the last few games was stunning. And, too bad for the Bruins. But anyway, you have to congratulate the Blackhawks. I think they played a great series. Their fans, everything was classy. They took the ad out in the Boston Globe. Rocky Wirtz and his GM there, president of the team, took the full-page ad out in the Globe to thank the city of Boston for being, very hospitable on their visit. So, I think they understood it would have been nice for Boston to win the cup for the whole marathon victim thing. But, they won it, and you can't fault them for that. Obviously, nobody's going to not win it if they can. So, anyway, tough series, but Bruins should not be ashamed. They played their hearts out, played hard, played through injuries. Nathan Horton had the separated shoulder. and I'm going to get to him right now. Actually, into this postseason now, you take a look at the Bruins going forward. They've already come up with, let Ferentz know that he's not going to be back. Yager's not going to be back, and although he didn't score goals, I thought he was a positive player for the Bruins. But Yager's not going to be back. Jay Pandolfo, who was kind of a bit backup veteran guy, he's not going to be back. So the Bruins, they knew they had some cap issues coming into this offseason. They got to get Tuukka Rask signed. All indications to this point look like the Bruins are looking at a 6-7 year deal for somewhere between $6 and $7 million a year for Rask. So I think Tuukka certainly proved he's your goaltender of the future. There's no question about it. Nathan Horton has inexplicably said he's moving on in free agency. I don't know if he wasn't going to be happy with under $5 or $6 million a year. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe a wife wants to move. So the rumor is he wants to move back to Florida and start a new beginning. I don't understand it, folks. So you like the warm weather, but you play for the Boston Bruins. You're in the Stanley Cup Finals 2 out of 3 years, winning it once. So I can't fathom. I certainly wouldn't do it if it was me, but that's me. So Nathan Horton looking like he's going to move on. The Bruins actually, reports out of Canada were that they were very close to and were offering up Tyler Seguin for trying to get into a top 6 pick in the draft because the Bruins didn't have the first round pick because of the Yager deal. Now, ultimately, the trade never went down, but I like what Chiarelli did. I like that he let it get out there because that first line right wing job is wide open now if Horton's not coming back. So Seguin should be striving to prepare himself to come into training camp to take that job. I also like the Bruins have talked to Vinny Lecavalier. Love that player. He's been a great player in the NHL for a long time. Won a Stanley Cup with Tampa back in '04. But he's talking to a lot of teams, and the Bruins would ask him to move to right wing, where he's normally a center. But depends if he wants to win, and he learned from the Jerome Iginla nonsense. Maybe he'll come to Boston. But anyway, that's what's going on. I'll keep. This is my last specific Bruins report, but I'll keep everybody up to date with what's going on in the offseason, any signings. I've also put on my page on Facebook, Scott Travis Sports News, information on all the recent draft picks, and I'll continue to, forward along information. And stay tuned. You can also follow me on Twitter at ScottTravisSN. So stay tuned. I'll be coming out with some more. It was a crazy week in sports. I'll be doing a whole nother recap on everything else going on in New England. But this is it for my Bruins final report for the season. And other than that, unless something, maybe I'll do a midsummer report if something breaking happens, a big signing. But it's been great talking to you. Thanks for everybody for watching. And I'll keep you posted, and you'll be hearing more about all the other New England teams coming up. And we'll see. Bruins, nice effort, almost. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll be talking to you soon. I'm Scott Travis. Take care.